February 14th, 2017. Man, that shit seems like just yesterday, but that was the day that my life and so many others would change forever, and we didn't even know the shit at the time. It's the day a game will release that will directly introduce us to so many good friends, supporters, other content creators. Of course, I'm talking about For Honor, you know what I mean? Like, with its promise of bringing a medieval combat-driven experience to gamers worldwide, Ubisoft released this creation to the world, and it was met with a lot of attention. Perhaps more attention than they were both willing to expect and could handle. As history will rightfully tell it, the game was victim to countless network issues, a pretty aggressive microtransaction system, and a host of balance issues across its 5 game modes at the time. But this won't be a history lesson on For Honor, as I've done that shit before. Instead, I want to focus objectively on giving my opinion on the state of the game in its current form, because contrary to popular belief, Ubisoft has put a lot of work and effort into improving For Honor, more effort than what a lot of players in the community give them credit for, myself included, to be honest. So with that being said, let's start off with the current 22 hero roster in For Honor. But before we get into that, what the hell am I man at y'all? Ill Nation! What's going on with y'all, man? I ain't said that shit in a minute. What's going on with y'all, man? Let's kill this truth in the building. And today we're going to be looking objectively at For Honor as a whole. Marching Fire drops Tuesday. I want to make sure I got this out to the people. Anyone who's looking to buy the game or looking to get back into For Honor for the Marching Fire update, I want to give them an update on how the game is doing currently. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the 22 hero roster to include the Wulin, and we're going to go ahead and just include them for the sake of the video. But if you guys are new to the channel and it's the first time meeting me as a creator, I want to welcome you guys to the channel. Make sure to subscribe if you're down for Honor discussion videos, just different type of discussions we have on the channel as far as this game is concerned. If that's up your alley, hit the sub button, sub up. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about this 22 hero roster in For Honor. Let's get it. So as it stands now, there are currently 18 playable heroes, with 4 more set to release in 2 days with the Marching Fire update. So what you have is the Knights, the Vikings, the Samurai, and soon to be Wulin, all looking to claim victory on the battlefield, except some are vastly stronger than others. While character design and detail has always been top notch, like once again shout out to the art team, they do an amazing job on level design, character design, different aspects of the characters, all the way down to the armor sets, the weapons. The graphical update that they're dropping with Marching Fire is absolutely incredible. The fact that it has no performance issues added to the game is crazy. Big shout out to the art team. But I digress. Like, I have to say, balance has never really made its way into the game. That's not to say that there haven't been improvements, you know, universal changes to the fight system such as parry punishes, you know, hero dodge recovery, dodge distance changes, and recently announced dodge roll fixes, and many others are all welcome additions to the state of balance in For Honor. But when it comes to hero specific balancing, Ubisoft has been a bit on the slow side, bringing every hero up to snuff in terms of both 1v1 and 4v4 viability. Now, of course, there are exceptions to this. Season 5's Kensei and Berserker reworks, while not perfect, were overall great additions to the game in my opinion. Now for the other reworks, those being the Conqueror, Peacekeeper, Orochi, Valkyrie, and Warden, I will say that while not as good as the Kensei and Berserker rework in terms of quality, each one of those heroes are in a better spot in the meta based on the changes, for better or worse. Heroes that were on the lower end of the spectrum saw a rise. In the rare case of a Peacekeeper being on the high side of things, saw it brought back down into place. Now that's not to say that all of these changes are balanced, looking at Conqueror Shield Bash for example, but the way it's looking, it looks like the changes are here to stay and they're looking to stay long term. Now as far as other members of the cast are concerned, only the Shigoki has been confirmed to be in the process of receiving a rework in the future. That of course isn't to say that Ubisoft isn't working on more hero reworks or balance changes or updates. That's the only one that we know that's confirmed so far. Though I will say that there are a few members of the cast that don't particularly need a rework. Many heroes can do just fine with the balance updates, their attack values, or maybe an added option to their mix-up game, or maybe a new combo chain, but that's just my opinion on it. All in all, while Ubisoft has shown that they are more than capable of creating viable heroes with unique movesets, they haven't done so in what many players consider a timely fashion. So it'll be pretty interesting to see the direction that they take in terms of hero balancing. Though I feel it's noteworthy to mention that Ubisoft has made changes to the Aramusha that are set to drop with the Marching Fire update. While many players consider the changes a nerf to an already weak overall hero, it's good to see that they're looking into heroes on a case-by-case basis. This gives us hope that they'll look into other heroes in the future. Let's just hope that they don't nerf them in the process. But the heroes are one thing, they're only half the battle. Let's go ahead and look into the game modes. Now the game modes in For Honor have always been pretty damn hit or miss, man. Like you can see Dominion have a high player count at any time of the day or week, while Tribute has literally been dead for months. That shit has been dead. I've been on PC for months and I have never seen Tribute higher than low player count. Dominion has been the most popular game mode since For Honor's launch, and it looks to finally have some competition with Breach, the new Castle Siege mode coming with the March of Fire update. Of course, with this being a fighting game, 1v1 duel still has its fair share of playtime, and Brawl does pretty well in its own respects, but there is no secret that Dominion runs the game. While the reasoning behind Dominion's domination is also subjective, March of Fire looks to change the whole dynamic of the 4v4 game modes with the introduction of the perk system, a true successor to the gear score system currently seen in the game today. The goal of perks are to give players more options in terms of the hero builds and customizations, in addition to give Ubisoft a sense of future scalability with the product as a whole. In addition to perks, Ubisoft plans to nerf many of the current feats in the game. You know, you have the Fear itself and the Sharpened Blade combo wreaking havoc. You have catapults wreaking havoc. You have infinite traps being laid all across the battlefield. And while this is a good change to the balance of the game in 4v4 game modes, they have to be very careful on which feats they touch and which feats they leave untouched. But they've stated multiple times that this is the first of many changes coming to the feat system, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. And just for the sake of completion, I will include For Honor's new arcade mode in this section of the video. This new arcade mode is a 1 to 2 player game mode PvE that can be replayed infinitely with new quests constantly being generated. The best part about this is the XP and the steal, honestly. It transfers over to your PvP heroes, so you can grind out a PvE game mode for PvP reputation, which by the way is rep 60 overall now. And now that we covered the game modes, let's look into some of the quality of life changes For Honor has made since its initial release. So I can't even start this section of the video without mentioning the training arena. This is a revamp of the old training section in the initial release of the game. This new mode actually allows you to set preset mix-ups and specific moves to any hero on the roster so you can practice reacting to any move you have trouble with currently. They even plan on adding an option to have a friend join your training session so you can practice with a real life person using actual PvP attack speed values. My biggest gripe with this mode currently is the lack of anti-gank options, as well as the inability to create specific combos for my AI opponent to throw at me. With this game being heavily focused on team combat, it's essential that Ubisoft gives players a way to practice both ganking and anti-ganking. But all in all, the arena was a great addition to the game. It could just use some upgrades, but that's no issue at all. They can always add those in the future. This brings us to the network stability topic of For Honor. And I'm very happy to say that For Honor really hasn't had too many network issues in matchmaking in a very long time. The implementation of dedicated servers really helped with the network stability issues the game faced when it first launched, and the lag compensation has done a pretty damn good job making sure attacks are consistent throughout all game modes. With the March of Fire update, Ubisoft plans on bringing their dedicated server infrastructure to custom games. This is a good and bad change for a number of reasons. This will be good for content creators such as myself who host custom lobbies based on the idea of fun and not so much on competition. This will also pave the way for a potential spectator mode, as Ubisoft knows the community's desire to have one in addition to a theater mode. But this change will be bad for tournaments in the competitive scene due to cross-region latency. Peer-to-peer networks work best in those situations, and adding another server to go through will only add latency and make attacks that much harder to react to. The simple best solution will be to add an option to switch between both dedicated servers and peer-to-peer connections. Let's just hope Ubisoft will add this feature in the future. And to wrap things up, let's look into the sheer amount of content Ubisoft has brought into the game. For Honor has introduced us to 6, soon to be 10 new heroes since it launched in February 2017. Countless weapons, armors, cosmetic effects, outfits, emotes, executions, maps, limited time game modes, 2 new permanent game modes, that being Tribute and Breach, seasonal events, ranked game modes have all seen their fruition since the game launched, and while it's subjective if you like any of this content or not, the fact remains that Ubisoft has worked their ass off bringing this level of content in a gaming market where companies charge for biannual releases. So to this, Ubisoft receives nothing but praise from me. All we can do is hope that more armor sets, special customization in terms of hair color and beard selection and color palettes come sooner rather than later. So with all the bases covered, we have to ask ourselves this final question. Is For Honor worth playing in 2019? And to answer that question, I would say yes and no. It depends on what you're looking for and what your expectations are For Honor. Let me explain. For Honor is by no means a perfect game. In fact, it has many flaws and some pretty questionable balance and foundation choices. We've given suggestions on forums, feedbacks, videos, and comment sections, and while some are met with silence, others are met with acceptance. The item shop and the voiceover system come to mind as 2 times Ubisoft blatantly listened to the community and literally stopped their plans based on feedback. And I think the biggest key to these situations that many people don't consider is the fact that these systems never made their way into the final game at all. So to say to Ubisoft, here's our concerns, is an understatement. But on the flip side, when it comes to balance choices, there are times where I feel like the developers and the community are playing 2 different games completely. And I believe this is where the main frustration comes from at this point. So to put it bluntly, if you're looking for a cool game to play with friends in a non-competitive light, then For Honor may be the game just for you. Its low-level casual play is pretty hilarious in my opinion and should be enjoyed by every gamer whether you like fighting games or not. But if you're looking for a game to sink hundreds of hours into and learn every matchup down to the punishes and advanced combos, you may need to look for a more competitive fighter, as For Honor currently isn't in that place to be considered competitive. That's not to say it will never make it there. Hell, that would mean the world to me if it did, but in all honesty, it just isn't at this point. But it's not the game itself that will upset you. I mean, of course the game will piss you off at times, but that's not the point that I'm getting at. It's the fact that you will find yourself so immersed in the fighting style of For Honor, so much so that as new games are released, you'll check them out of course, but as the days go by, you'll find yourself loading up For Honor. It's a love or hate relationship, and I honestly don't see that changing. A few weeks ago, I voiced my frustrations with the game, and I promised to follow up to the video. This is that follow-up. I wanted to clarify my stance with the game as a whole. I have all but lost faith with the game becoming a what myself and many others envisioned it of becoming, a very feature-rich, well-balanced 3D medieval fighter. I've accepted that Ubisoft may or may not ever balance this game to the ability that we all know that they're capable of. So while I will recommend everyone try this game for the sake of fun, I can't in my heart tell someone to invest hundreds of hours into For Honor at this point. This game has so much potential and yet so many uncertainties. But who knows, 6 months from now, we may be seeing For Honor in a whole new light. So there you have it, you guys. I definitely want to make sure I got like high visibility video out for you guys. Any new players, I could just try to give as best a look into the game as I possibly can. But you guys share your thoughts in the comment section. Are you still actively playing For Honor? Are you like a newer player, like got in like at the later seasons? Have you been down since day one, such as myself and so many others? Let me know in the comment section down below. I definitely do read every comment that I get. It's a lot of them. I won't lie to you, there's definitely a lot of them, but I try to get every single comment that I get. I can't respond to all of them, but I definitely read them. So I very much appreciate you guys, man. March of Fire comes out 2 days. I'm definitely going to be on it. Definitely going to be trying out the new heroes, the new PvE game mode, the new armor, PK. I got to get that PK armor. You know how I know that's my main. It's the main thing. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, my name is Illich Truth. If you are new to the channel and you like this type of discussion videos, we just sit and talk about this game, many others to come in the future of the channel. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you are new, and I appreciate the support, you guys. But once again, my name is Illich Truth. I'll catch you guys in the next video, man. Peace to the world. Peace to the word. Y'all don't know it, man. I've been sitting here doing this voiceover for like 3 hours. Like, I'm stressed. I'm stressed, y'all. But peace to the world, peace to the earth. We are out, ladies and gentlemen. That's a wrap. Peace, y'all.